Hey, welcome back. Today I want to talk about vegetables and cleaning vegetables. In this lean lifestyle, we recommend organic as often as you can access it, whether it's from your own garden and you know what's on your vegetables, or whether you're in the market or the farmer's market. Organic is always better because it has less chemicals on it. However, where I live here in Canada, north of the 49th, we don't always have access to organic vegetables, especially in the wintertime. And if we do, you know it's a premium price. And while the price has its value, it's not always feasible for every family. So there are ways to minimize the chemical load of our vegetables that have to be clean. They have to control pests and all those kind of things. However, those chemicals, when we ingest them on our food, have to be stored. Our liver doesn't know what to do with it. Our body can't assimilate it into cells or anything. It has to be stored. And so in order to store it, it has to make a storage unit, and that is a fat cell. So when we see, our weight growing, one of the factors is that we have too much of a toxic load, which can come from our environment, lots of which we don't have any control over. It can come from our skincare products. It can also come, of course, from our food sprayed with pesticide in our modern agricultural practices. The good news is we have some simple solutions to helping minimize the damage that chemicals and residues on our food can take. And that's what I'm here to talk about this morning. So the first thing is, when we come to our own garden, our own fresh produce, which I know is not sprayed, but it's not necessarily really clean either. So first of all, I'm going to show you what I can do with that. I do have a very nice little handout that if you want to have a copy of this, several pages, I'd be happy to share it with you. Just contact me on the contact page and I'll send that off to you. So this first video on vegetable cleaning is about soaking and just cleaning the vegetables from our garden. And so we'll get right at it. This is spinach. I'm just going to cut some tails off here. The nice thing about this is that we're just using, tap water for start. We use a quarter of a cup of vinegar, and we use 2 tablespoons of salt. And in my house, in the last few years while we've been doing this fat loss system, we have switched over to pink Himalayan salt, primarily because it has a lot of good minerals in it that are also good for us, just to optimize your nutrition. To stay away from the white salt that is iodized with a chemical from the lab, and so on and so forth. All right, so I think I've got most of the large stems off and got the baby leaves here. So I prepared a large bowl of water. Let me just get these stems back in this bowl here. There we go. All right. So I've just prepared. You can do this in your sink if you have a large harvest from your garden, or just use a large bowl. And I don't think it matters how much water you have in there. I'm not filling it, but that's what we have this morning. Then I've just used a simple 1/4 cup of white vinegar. Now this is just the standard white vinegar. You can buy special white vinegar, which I don't have in the house right now. And then we want 2 tablespoons of salt. So this is my big container of pink Himalayan salt. So I'm just going to swish that around in here, mix it up. So when you bring organic vegetables home from the farmer's market or from the grocery store, if you choose to give it an extra clean, you can use this. Very simple, just water in a large bowl or in your sink. Add a 1/4 cup of vinegar and 2 tablespoons of the salt you have in the house. So I'm just kind of getting this to dissolve a little bit. And then I'll put the leaves in. They're very sandy this morning. We've had some rains, which of course kick up the garden dirt a fair bit. Let me just get this under here and swish it. And of course, the vinegar and the salt don't do anything to damage the flavor of your vegetables. Or the other thing, it will, if you have things like cabbage or Brussels sprouts or some of those small leaf kind of veggies that have tiny bugs harboring in them, it'll draw those bugs out so you don't have extra protein in your meal. So you can see from my cutting board how much dirt was on there from the garden. So I'm going to let that sit for 20-25 minutes, and then I'll just rinse it under cold water, spin it in my spinner to dry it a little bit, and then put it away. The other thing that washing your vegetables like this will do is keep them fresh and optimize for storage in your fridge for a few days longer. So I hope that was a great tip. The next thing we're going to do is how to take care of vegetables that come from the grocery that are commercial grown, which we can expect to have pesticides on them, and what we can do to minimize that. All right, it's Pat, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.